Hey y'all, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Mogi Beth, and for those of y'all who are new here, I own a reselling business, meaning that I sell women's clothing online on places like Poshmark, eBay, Tradesy, and Mercari. Today's video is one that I've been doing every month since February of this year, and that is my monthly sales video where I go over my total sales and other stats that I track each and every month to share with y'all. Today's video is all about November sales, and if you watched last month's sales video, which I will link up on the screen, you know that November was a month that I knew was going to be rough. And that's mainly because we launched our course in November, and if you want more information about that course, I will also link a video up on the screen that shares the first module of the course, which is, I really think is such a great video to watch, even if you're not interested in the course. But anyways, because of that, I knew November sales were going to take a dip, and I think this month is really going to be a good learning lesson for what not to do because of that, so I'm excited to get into that. The first thing I want to say before we jump into this video is that these monthly sales videos are going to come to an end this year. There's something that I really wanted to do in order to share my journey with y'all, to hold myself accountable, and to just share what I was learning along the way. But I really think that this year I've really accomplished what we've set out to do, and next month we are going to do a look over the entire year and show the different things that have really made a difference over the course of the year in our sales. There are so many factors that I hadn't considered about doing these videos but before I did them, and for a lot of reasons. And if you want me to go into why I've decided not to pursue these videos anymore, I can in the next video. Let me know in the comments down below. But for a lot of reasons, I am going to be ending this series this year. So I'm so grateful to y'all for tuning into these videos, and I hope they've been helpful. I'm going to change it up and hopefully provide even more helpful content next year, but this is going to be the second to last video where I'm sharing my monthly total sales. So before we get into my total sales numbers and all the other numbers, I did want to go over kind of basically the learning lessons from this month and what I've realized since this month my sales performed so poorly. The first thing is that I know the number one piece of advice that people give within the reselling community is consistency. And that's because that really does make the world of a difference. Even if you have tons of listings up, if you just stop what you're doing, which is basically what I did in November, your sales are going to plummet. And that is because, especially on Poshmark, Poshmark is not a list it and forget it platform. There are activities that you must be performing consistently on Poshmark in order to maintain regular sales. And these are sales generation techniques and strategies that I go over in my course. I've gone over some of them in videos in the past on YouTube. Things like sharing, things like offers to likers, these things really matter in the performance of your overall sales on Poshmark. I remember when I got one of my friends to list over on Poshmark a couple years ago, and she told me, and she actually had some really good stuff, but she just listed it and didn't do anything with it, and also did not write her listings according to how Poshmark is designed. And she had like 0 sales, and she was complaining to me that nothing sells on Poshmark. And I know that can be the experience for certain people who try to sell on Poshmark. If you're not doing the right things on Poshmark, you're not going to find success. And so this month really showed me that. Like, it really reminded me that I can't just peace out and expect my business to run as usual. It does require certain activities, and it does require certain consistent strategies that must be pursued in order to find success over on Poshmark specifically. And again, I'm just going to plug it again here. The course goes over all of these, and I think this was such a good reminder to me that the things we go over the course really do matter, and they really are important. So, okay, that being said, let's get into the numbers and I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so this month, November, my total sales for this month were $11,824.79. That is $7,129.46 less than October, which is substantial. Obviously, that's a lot of money. That is a major dip in sales. The only platform that actually I performed better at in November than I did October was Tradesy. And that is because Tradesy is really a list it and forget it platform. There's not really too much you can do over on Tradesy except for just get your items up there and listed. If y'all, I know y'all request videos for me on Tradesy before. If you want me to do a video on Tradesy, let me know in the comments down below. It's not really as strategy intensive as something like Poshmark or eBay, but there are certain brands that perform better on Tradesy than others. But just to go over the different platforms and my sales on the different platforms. Okay, so on Poshmark I had $9,852 of sales, which is a $6,785 less than October, which again is because I was not showing up in Poshmark the way I needed to be. So, and then on eBay, I had $783.70 worth of sales, which is almost exactly half of what I had in October. It was $738.30 less than October. On Tradesy, however, I had $1,014.09 worth of sales, which was an increase of $550.84 from October, which was great. And then on Mercari, which is the platform that I give the least amount of attention to these days, I had $175 worth of sales, which was $48 less than October. Okay, so now here's why. In November, I only listed 162 items. And that is 281 less than October, but it was 350 less than really what I want to be at, because I really want to be at 600 listings for each month. And again, this is because we were planning on launching the course on November 9th. We ended up launching the course November 16th. And then I took about a week off from everything after the course launched, just because it really drained me. But so because of that, I only really listed for about a week, and that's why I only had about 162 items up in November. And the thing is, you don't get to have a dip in performance without a dip in results. And that's why I am very much performance oriented. I'm focusing on what is within my control, and the number one thing that matters, the number one thing that's within your control is how many items you're listing each month. And if I list less, I'm gonna make less. It's just as simple as that. That's how my projections work out, and that's how it works out in reality. And so we only sold 180 items in the month of November, which was 168 less than in October. I'm gonna put up this graph here. This really kind of shows the number of sales we had over the period of the month. And as you can see, the last week of November was the most consistent, and that was because that's when I was listing, that's when I was showing up and doing different sales generation strategies as well. Luckily though, my average sales price did go up. It went up from $54.47 in October to $65.69 in November. So that really saved me. That's why I didn't have, you know, a 4-figure sales month. Luckily, I was able to have a 5-figure sales month, but you know, not by much. And I think it's really largely because of the average sales price going up. So I'm grateful for that. Okay, so our average sales days was 121. And our median sales days was 86. These numbers, 121 and 86, is the average and median amount of days that the items that we sold took to list. That's pretty high, and that's really because I wasn't doing a lot of sales generation techniques. And while I don't report it on here, I do track my sell-through rate. And if you've watched my inventory system and my inventory spreadsheet video, which I'll link up on the screen, that goes over everything that I track, because I don't report everything that I track on these videos. But I will say this month our sell-through rate took a massive dip. And that's because I wasn't doing those sales generation activities again. Overall, this month reminded me once again that how you show up on Poshmark matters immensely. It's really not just how many items you have listed, because y'all, I have a lot of items listed on Poshmark, and that really didn't change much between October and November. What changed was how I was showing up. And so it's so important to stay consistent even when the results aren't really showing up. It's important that you show up. I think one of the most important lessons that reselling has taught me is to divorce my efforts from the results that I'm seeing in the immediate future. So what I mean by that is to show up consistently, to list consistently, to share consistently, to do all of your sales generation activities consistently. And if you can do that without needing immediate results, then you're gonna see long-term success. But if you push really hard for 1 or 2 weeks, don't see results, and then give up, then you're not gonna get really anywhere in reselling. You're not gonna get anywhere really in anything, and YouTube included. That's what this month showed me, because I was forced not to show up because I was focused on the course, and I'm not mad at myself for that. I think the course is definitely worth it. I'm so happy with the results and the feedback that we're getting from y'all, and I think it really puts a smile on my face every time I hear that we're making an impact on your business. So definitely worth it, but if I can avoid it in the future, I definitely am going to. In the past couple of sales videos, I've really chosen to show what sold based off a few different trends in my sales, but what the feedback that I've received from y'all is that you really want to see more of what sold. And so I hear you loud and clear. Next year, I'm gonna do more kind of what sold videos based off what sold this past weekend, for instance. But because I sell hundreds of items each month, I can't share hundreds of items of what sold, within my monthly sales videos. But I decided to change things up in this video and go over 15 items, which is substantially more than usual, of what sold this month, just to give y'all a better idea of what is selling. And so I chose these 15 items based on things that I think would be helpful. So mainly based off brands that you may not have heard about, or brands that you know about, but items within those brands that are selling specifically really well right now. Okay, so I'm gonna go over all 15 of these quickly. I'm gonna put them up on the screen. All right, the first brand I wanted to talk about was Alo Yoga, and this is a brand that I've talked about before on my channel, but it's just one that is selling so well for me still. Very consistent seller, and one that I definitely don't say no to when I find a good deal on it. So the first is this faux fur hooded coat that was a size medium, and it was a new without tags condition. It sold within 9 days for $100 after I had it listed for $135. And then the second is this Alo Yoga sheer mesh hooded aqua jacket that I actually thrifted, and it was in a thrift haul that I will link up on the screen. This I had listed for $50, and it sold on eBay for $40. It was after 50 days of listing it on Poshmark, but I think I'd only had it listed on eBay for about a week when it sold, so that was a really quick seller for me on eBay, which I was really happy about. And it actually did have a flaw. The drawstring of the hood was missing, so for $40 pre-owned, I was really happy with that sale. Okay, the next are these Del Toro sushi velvet slipper loafer shoes that sold to a viewer. So if you're watching, thank you so much. You have incredible taste in shoes, because I am so obsessed with these. I had actually thrifted them, and they were in a thrift haul that, again, I will link up on the screen. I had listed them pretty high because there weren't any direct comps, so I wanted to see what I could get for them. And I had listed them, I think, too high. I had listed them for $300. So I had planned on relisting it for around $225 when I received an offer from a viewer for $150, and I went ahead and accepted. And so still a really great sale. And this was probably one of my favorite thrifted items in a while. I'm just such a unique item, so cute. Loved those shoes. And Del Toro is a really good bolo brand to know, in case you didn't know about it already. Okay, so next was another pair of thrifted shoes. I don't think I had these in a thrift haul, but I did share them over on Instagram. So if you're not following me on Instagram, make sure you do that. It's the same, Mogi Beth. And these were the Everlane The Day heel in black suede. These were in like brand new condition. They look like they've never been worn. Super excited when I found these. I had them listed for $100, and then after 57 days I received an offer for $80 over on Poshmark, and so I accepted that offer. I really, really love selling Everlane shoes. In that same thrift trip, I actually found this Joie Jamie Lee C faux fur collar wool cardigan. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. I think it's Jamie Lee. I've actually sold this cardigan before. I sold it at about the same time last year, and I thrifted this. I had it listed for $90 and it sold to an offer for $50 after 53 days. Joie is a brand that performs inconsistently, but I do find that certain pieces, especially within their knitwear, still perform really well. So I would definitely not write off Joie entirely. Their older silk printed pieces I tend to pass on, but certain pieces I still really, really like selling by this brand. Okay, the next was an Alexa Chung for Adriana Goldschmied corduroy overalls. I got these at a buy sell trade store, and anytime you see a collab in the thrift store or wherever, I think it's definitely worth investigating, because typically with collabs there's a limited release, which means that there's a limited supply in the universe, which limited supply can sometimes mean that there's heightened demand, especially on the reseller market. So when I found these, I looked them up quickly on Poshmark, checked comps like I do on everything, y'all should too, and definitely saw that this fit that bill. And so I listed these for $100, and I received an offer for $65 after 18 days of listing, and I went ahead and accepted. I think I accepted because my sales were suffering, and I was like, I can't afford to barter on these things. I probably could have held out for more with these overalls, but still had a really good return on them, and they sold fairly quickly. So I was definitely happy about that collab. But if you do see that collab out in the thrift store, definitely look it up, because it's a good one to know. Okay, the next piece is a Bolo brand, and one that I actually didn't know about and never sold before, but it's a luxury leather goods and denim brand, and I actually don't know how to pronounce it, but it's all caps SPRWMN. So y'all tell me how to pronounce that. But I had acquired these high-waisted leather leggings by this brand, and leather leggings, faux leather leggings, are selling really, really well right now. These retailed for $925, and they did have a small flaw, but I listed them for $500, and I received a bunch of offers around the $200 range, but held out for a better price. And so when I received an offer for $350 after about 2 months, I went ahead and accepted, which I was super happy about. So yes, this is definitely a brand to know, and definitely one that I will keep an eye out for in the future. And in general, if you come across genuine leather or faux leather leggings, it's definitely worth looking them up and checking comps on that. Okay, so next was a pair of these new without box UGG Bailey Bow Tall Boots. It is the season for Uggs, y'all. Uggs, it's a brand that just won't go away. It's here to stay, and it really has a good rate of retention on the reseller market. So, you know, I still love selling Uggs. I had these listed for $175 and then accepted an offer for $122 after 58 days of listing. Okay, so another great Bolo brand, and one that I hadn't sold yet but was really excited to sell, was Floret. I sold this new with tag Floret wool car coat. I had it listed for $500, and again, similar to the leather leggings earlier, I sold to an offer for $350. And this was again after about 2 months. And so I was really happy with that sale. Okay, next we've got this new tag James Purse cropped hoodie. James Purse is another brand that sells somewhat inconsistently, but what I find is that newer pieces really can perform well and sell quickly. And so when I come across it in the thrift store, I usually check comps, especially if it looks like a recent piece. It's not something that I always 100% of the time pick up, but this was a new tag cropped hoodie, which is definitely an on-trend piece. And so it sold. I had it listed at $100, and then I decided to send 30% off offers on it, and with discounted shipping. And so someone accepted that offer after 11 days of listing. So that was a quick flip and something I was really happy about. And then another Bolo brand that this is my first time selling, was a New With Tags Live the Process leggings, and this is an activewear brand that's definitely one to be on the lookout for and one that I wasn't aware of. I had it listed for $100 and then accepted an offer for $65 after 39 days. Again, I probably could have gotten more, but November I was just really, I was like accepting more offers than I usually would, which was totally fine because I needed all the help I could get. Okay, and then next was, I've talked about this brand before and I love this brand. This New Attack Retro Fat Gabrielle robe dress and unicorn stripe. I think I talked about this back in May or April. This particular dress Taylor Swift wore, and so it's very popular amongst Swifties. I think that's what they're called. But this brand is especially well this time of year because of New Year's, and if it wasn't for COVID, it'd probably be performing even better. But it's a brand that I really, really love selling. I had this dress listed for $500 and then sold it for $345 after 80 days. And these types of pieces, you know, when you're listing items for $500, you're not expecting quick flips. And so 80 days was perfectly fine for me. On these dresses, I do receive a lot of lowball offers, and so I just hold my ground and wait until I get the right one and accept that one, and I was happy with that sale. Okay, the next is, like UGG, Sorel is a brand that just, 'tis the season for. It's a brand that performs well year after year, and there are fewer and fewer brands that really, I believe, will perform well next year. UGG and Sorel are just two of those brands that just have been consistent throughout my reselling career. So these were New Attack Sorel Tofino boots, which is a style that does particularly well. I had these listed for $175, which I think is pretty close to retail, and they sold through offers to likers for $132 with free shipping after 33 days of being listed. So happy about that sale. This is an item that I would pick up again and again and again if I could. Okay, and so next we have a New Attack's V Chapman embroidered dress. I think I talked about this brand a while back as well, but I love this brand, V Chapman. It's a bolo brand that sells really well for me. This piece took a little while to sell, which is fine. It took about 112 days to sell, but I had it listed for $235 and then received an offer for $220, which probably the most reasonable offer ever. And so I was just really waiting for that right buyer to come along. But this is a Californian designer that makes these really kind of lacy, romantic dresses, very feminine dresses. And I think they're absolutely gorgeous. So definitely a brand to know. And then finally, the last one were these R13 jeans, and this was also from a Thrift With Me video that I will link up on the screen. These jeans I found at Goodwill, and they had actually been kind of cropped or altered to be a raw hem, which wasn't the original style of the jean, but I actually thought it looked really good that way. But because of that alteration, I listed them a little bit lower for $70, and then after 15 days received an offer for $55, which I accepted. But this is definitely, R13 is a bolo brand, a denim bolo brand, a really good one to know. And I've actually a long time ago created a denim bolo brand video that actually still, I think, stood the test of time. It still goes over 10 denim brands that I think every reseller should know, and I'll link that up on the screen as well. But okay, that 15 items of what sold. I hope that was more helpful to you this month, giving you a better idea of what is selling. Again, you know, boots, coats, sweaters are really selling well this time of year, but I do find, even despite COVID, that dresses are doing well. I think people are still planning on, even if it's a small gathering, celebrating. I don't know. But sequin dresses, cocktail dresses, I'm still seeing sell well this time of year. So, and then of course, denim and shoes, my two favorite categories, are selling really well. So I quickly just want to go over some goals that I have for December, and then I will close out this video. So for December, first of all, I'm really focusing on my mental and physical health. I know this is not necessarily business related, but I actually do believe it is very integral to the well-being of your business, especially when you are an entrepreneur, especially if you're a solopreneur, meaning you're the only person within your company. I think it's really, really important to not only focus on the well-being of your business, but your own well-being, because your business is very reliant upon you. And if you have employees like I do, your employees are reliant upon you. And so it's equally important to focus on your own well-being, and that's something that I had definitely been neglecting. And so December I'm really focusing on. I have been struggling a lot with depression and anxiety these past few months, and I'm not going to get into that too much right now, but I just wanted to mention that because I know that's something that I'm not alone in. And if you are going through that right now, just know you're not alone. I'm really, been struggling with that. And so this year has just been especially cruel, but I think that's why it's just really especially important to focus, on your own well-being and your own health if you can. So what I've been doing, I've really been allocating a lot of time and effort and energy into working out, into meditating, into journaling, and into reading. And then of course I'm also investing in things like skincare and healthy food. And as always, I'm investing in therapy. So those are things that I'm really, not only investing money in, but really investing time. And I think that's the hardest part for me, is just taking time away from my own business and giving it to myself, and taking those, couple hours every morning to really just focus on me and my own health. And it's made a world of a difference, and it's just helped me really feel a lot more centered, a lot more grounded, and a lot more whole. I've only been doing it for a little while now, but I'm really focusing on it in December, and I think it will help me focus on it consistently throughout 2021. Okay, so, but business-wise, again, really what I'm focusing on this month is consistency. I've really been derailed in November, and so December I'm getting my business back on track and focusing on getting those 600 listings up each month. I am filming this on December 7th. So we are 1 week into December and I've listed 150. So I'm on track to get to 600 this month. So I'm happy about that. And the other thing I want to get back to being more consistent with, because it really matters on this platform, is eBay, cross-listing to that platform every day and really catching up over there, because that platform, there's just so many potential buyers on eBay. It's really still an untapped resource for my own business. And I know I've been plugging a ton of videos in this one, but there was a video that I did comparing all the different platforms that I'll link up on the screen. And eBay is definitely one that I think is worth focusing on. If you're wondering which platform you want to start cross-listing to, I would recommend eBay, and it's one that I'm going to really focus on this month. Okay, well that wraps up the November sales video. I do kind of want to ask y'all though, how was your November sales? Because obviously for me, November was a really weird month. I didn't really do a lot of reselling this month, and so my poor performance was to be expected, but it doesn't really give me a good idea of how reselling did in general. And I know there were a lot of factors that could play into whether this was a good month or not. Historically, November has been a good month for my business, but this year was an atypical year in many ways, and one of those ways was a lot of retailers were doing massive sales in November. So I think that could have really played a part in sales not performing as well as previous years. But let me know in the comments down below, what was your gauge? How were your sales in the month of November? I'm really curious. But I'm really excited to get back into things in December. I'm really excited to actually start creating content again on YouTube and really get into some more exciting things that I haven't done before. If y'all have any video ideas that you ever want to suggest, leave them down in the comments below. Even when we don't respond, we're always reading comments. So we really take y'all's feedback into consideration with what we're doing here on YouTube. Okay, well, I will see y'all in the next one. Love y'all so much. Okay, bye. Oh, y'all should check out some of these other videos that I have linked up on the screen. We create so much YouTube content this year and the year 2020, and if you haven't already, definitely check it out. There's a lot of valuable info I think that you can gain from these videos, and then make sure to like this video and subscribe. Okay.